Good morning, good morning, good morning. All right, not quite set up here. Turning off the heater, the background noise. Good morning. Today we're going to talk about saying no. And Dr. Gabor Maté said in a presentation he gave last year that if you don't know how to say no, your body will say it for you in the form of illness or accidents, which I've seen happen to myself, and I've seen it happen to people I know, people I love. And so I want to share just a few things about this idea around not being able to say no. And I'm just going to go just a little, I'm not going to go super deep into this. I just want to share, why is it so hard to say no? And what some of the implications are, the long-term implications to your health and to your well-being. And then I want to offer you some strategies. That's what I want to focus on most, are those strategies. So I'm not going to go into it super deep in the beginning here. What I want to share is that we have two huge desires, needs, and those are for connection and belonging, and to be our authentic self. And these are often in conflict, because if we express who we are, and so part of it is that authentic self and expressing our emotions and being able to be honest with other people with our emotions. And oftentimes, most of us have learned very early as a child that we want that connection, that attachment, that belonging with our mother, with our family, with the ones who are taking care of us. And if we cry, or if there's certain things that we do that we think will threaten that connection, we will suppress that. Let me give you an example. I'll give you an example for me. When I was young, I cried whenever my siblings would get in trouble. And not that I never got in trouble. I did. And I have 7 siblings. And so there was a lot of opportunities for people to be in trouble. And if my father was punishing my siblings, I would start crying. And then I would get in trouble. I would get yelled at. I remember, I literally have a memory of standing there and my father yelling at me, "Why are you crying?" He would yell, "Why are you crying? You're not in trouble. You didn't do anything. Why are you crying?" So it would upset him if I would cry. And so I learned early on not to express that. And I still think I did it. I did it less. And I learned that me being upset my father. And so that I would lose connection with my father if I expressed that. It may seem super weird and dumb, but that's the way it is. And Dr. Gabor Maté in a training, and I'll put a link to this course. It was fascinating. I took all sorts of notes on this training that he gave. And he talked about, he gave a story. I won't go into it all, but he gave a story about something from his childhood. As an infant, that happened and really impacted him as an adult. And we can learn to change. When I shared this story with my husband, he said, "Well, then, if it's there from childhood, what choice do we have? What can we do?" But we can change. We can choose. We can become aware of how we are suppressing our authentic self, how we're suppressing our emotions, how we're suppressing what we really want to say and become aware of it and start to be more authentic and be with, the people who will hold that space for us to be that authentic self. The second thing I want to, why does this matter? Why does it matter? So we have this need to connect and belong, and we also have this need to be our authentic self. And this is all around this whole thing is all around being able to say no. Being able to part of it is being able to say no, but part of it, really the bottom line is being able to say and be who you really are, and not caring so much about the impact, about what other people are thinking, and putting your self first, which may seem very selfish, and in some ways it is, because if we can be ourselves, we're going to be healthier. That doesn't mean you are rude and mean and things like that. But the reason this is important is that our brain, our emotional self, is deeply connected. And I'm the National Institute of Health, and I'm just going to read this. So our brain and our emotional health, our brain and our emotional being is deeply connected to our immune system. And what the way the National Institute of Health explains it, and I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on this, but the concept that the brain can modulate activity, the immune system. The concept that the brain can modulate activity of the immune system stems from the theory of stress. Recent advances in the study of the interrelationship between the central nervous system, fight, flight, freeze, calm, and the immune system have demonstrated a vast network of communication pathways in between those two systems. So we have our nervous system, which is where our emotions stem from, whether we're upset, whether we're calm, whether we're grounded, or whether we're angry and upset, deeply connected to our immune system. And it's actually referred to as the study of psychoneuroimmunology. I had to put that in 3 different words, psychoneuroimmunology. And it is the study of, so there's a whole study of the interaction between the mind, the nervous system, and the immune system. And this is a very complex, but it is bidirectional. Our immune system communicates to our brain and our nervous system, and our nervous system and our brain communicate to our immune system. And when we have levels of stress, constant levels of stress that we are not completing the stress cycle, that is going to impact our immune system. And how does this relate to saying no? So let's bring it back to saying no. When we say no, when we say yes, when we really don't want to, when we mean no, we are denying our authentic self. We are denying and we're suppressing our emotions. We're suppressing what we want in favor of taking care of others. We do that long enough, and that stress is going to impact our nervous system. And I want to offer you, in these last couple minutes of this live, I want to offer you a few ways where you can learn to say no. Okay, so here are some ways that you can, on a personal level, say no when you really want to. When people are, you might feel pressured to say yes when really you want to say no. So one of them might be that in my heart, I would really love to do this for you. And in the reality of my current schedule, I'm going to say no. You notice I didn't say, I'm sorry. I didn't say, I didn't dance around. I'm just very calm and firm. Another one is, I'm honored that you thought of me. And given my current priorities and commitments, I'm not adding anything new at this time. Thank you for understanding. So again, we're not apologizing because then we are putting guilt and shame on ourselves for not saying yes. Another way that you can say it is, I've been go, 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 go for so long, and I've recently reassessed my capacity, and I want to bring that pace back a bit. And so as a result, I am not committing to anything new at this time. Another word you notice is not in there is but or however. What you want to do is just use and, because when we use but, oftentimes it's like, I really like your hairdo, but it's sticking out weird, or whatever. I really like that outfit, but that belt just doesn't. When we hear but, it just negates. We don't even hear the first part of the sentence. So try not to use the word but in the middle of that, in the middle of any of these. Another one might be, I am so appreciative that you thought of me, and I'm going to do the courageous thing for me and decline this opportunity. Saying no isn't easy for me, and it's necessary for where I am right now. I appreciate you understanding. Again, I'm not apologizing. I am not adding guilt in my heart. I show appreciation for them thinking of you, that they appreciate your talents and your skills and your knowledge. And if it's not the right fit for you at the time, if adding more is going to cause stress, saying no is the best thing for you. Here's a few that are more in the professional realm. So, wow, this sounds like such a great project. I appreciate you thinking of me and what I could offer to this project. And with the commitments I have at this time, I could not give this project the attention it deserves. And oftentimes what can be helpful is, I wonder if Joe or Mary or Beth could contribute until my priorities shift, and then I can come in, or until I finish X project kind of thing. Maybe if it's something where you are working on a project, you could say, while I would love to connect with you on about your project, I'm currently working on a new book, a group launch, if you have your own business, and I'm not adding anything new at this time. Saying yes. This is one I read on a website. I love this. Saying yes would just enable my unhealthy habit of procrastination. Thank you for understanding and helping me push through the finish line. I mean, if you're really trying to finish something up and taking on anything new would shift your priorities and delay something, that's gonna create more stress. It's gonna create more immune dysfunction in the long run. Again, the reason I am so passionate about this is that we are in epidemics of chronic illnesses, autoimmune disorders, cancers, all sorts of chronic pain, chronic illness. And a lot of it is because we are in an unhealthy habit of suppressing our emotions, of suppressing what we need, of suppressing what we want, of being in this go, 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 go. That we have, if this were to be calm, grounded, working from a place of really no stress, no adrenaline and cortisol flowing through our system. Our society, and if we think this is, whoa, like I'm really driving, I'm really like cranking through getting stuff done, and I'm really stressed out because I've got a deadline that's got to be, things have to be done at this time. If that's the high stress point, and this is supremely calm and grounded, most of the work I see people, most of the level that I see people operating at is about here. And so when we're constantly adding more and doing more and working more and saying yes when we mean no, saying yes when we would really rather not, when we know it's going to add stress, we are operating at a constant level of adrenaline and cortisol in our system that is going to kill us in the long run. I may do a whole webinar on this because there's so much I want to share, but I've already gone longer than I had hoped. And I usually try to keep these to about 10 minutes. I used to do 20, and now I'm trying to keep them closer to 10 when we're already over 15. So where can you start to say no when you really mean no? Instead of saying yes and adding one more thing to your plate, how can you say no? I'd love to hear from you. If you catch the replay, please put replay in the comments. If you have any questions, if you'd like the link to the Dr. Gabor Maté's webinar or his training, the YouTube link of his training. And also, I will put a link in the comments for this. I have a freebie that you can get that are 3 strategies for working less. 3 strategies for working less. And they're very simple, very straightforward. They're just not always easy to implement. So you can either DM me, or I will put a link in the comments where you can go and sign up for that freebie. Hope you have a great rest of your week and see how you can bring that level of stress down to calm, grounded. And hopefully that can include working less if you're working more than 40 hours a week. And especially if you're working 50, 60, 70 hours a week. Take care and have a great week.